Let's bring in Booger McFarland, the ESPN NFL analyst and part of ESPN's college football and NFL coverage. Booger, good to see you. How are you?
I'm outstanding, DP. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I'm trying to understand your former coach, Tony Dungy's logic. He said that Tom Brady is the sixth toughest quarterback that he had to face here. Now, I don't know if I'm missing out on something because he is talking about quarterbacks that have mobility, but
Right.
he includes Peyton Manning in there. And Booger, Peyton Manning doesn't have mobility here. So does Tony really think that Tom Brady is the sixth toughest quarterback to defend?
Well, I think that's a question that you probably have to ask TD. TD probably has his reasons for that. Tom being in New England for 20 years, you hate to use the term system quarterback, DP, but he understood that system so well and he played to it. And I guarantee you, if you ask Tony, playing that system over and over, you got used to it. You knew what the checks were. You knew where the ball was going to go. You knew how Tom Brady was going to play. So maybe that lends to Tony saying, okay, I don't know if he's that difficult to prepare for because I know exactly what he's going to do. The key to it is just, can we go out and execute and stop it?
Okay, would you rather face Brady or Manning at their peak?
Wow. Probably Tom Brady, because Peyton Manning did so much at the line of scrimmage. Not that Tom doesn't, but Manning called the game pretty much from the line. Tom Brady was more conventional. So he was huddle, come to the line. He may check every now and then, but you were going to get the game in rhythm. Peyton Manning was so much out of rhythm because as a defensive lineman, he made you get on the ball and just stand there and wait while he's Omaha and Rabbit and ice cream and all the other stuff that he's saying. Like, I got to get out in the stance and wait, okay? Like, I can't just catch a couple of deep breaths. Whereas with Brady, when Brady's in the huddle, man, I can grab some water. I can tuck my shirt in. I can make sure that my butt crack's not showing. Like, I can do all the things that defensive linemen do.
But what is it about Brady in the final 2 minutes of a game that he's just different than almost any quarterback we've ever seen?
He's got ice water in his veins, DP. And the great ones look forward to the challenge of having that opportunity in the final 2 minutes. Some quarterbacks can relish the opportunity. Some can perform in the opportunity. It's almost as if Brady says, okay, I'm going to prepare for the rest of the game. But my mindset is always pointing to, I want the ball in my hands under 2 minutes. We're down 4. We need a touchdown. I want that opportunity because the great ones know that in order to become great, you have to perform in those moments. Like, anybody can do it in the first quarter when the game's not on the line. But if you want to be considered one of the great ones, you have to do it. It's kind of like in basketball. We look at LeBron, Kobe, all the great ones differently when they hit the game winners. Like, you can't be considered a great one until you hit it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you hit the shot. Then we can put you in a different category where it's no different than in football. You got to take that team down the field and score in that drive. Like, you got to perform in a game 7 in baseball. It's like our memory doesn't put you in stone or concrete until you do it in those moments.
What's the craziest thing you've ever heard at the line of scrimmage?
Probably was against Carson Palmer. So Carson Palmer was quarterback in the Bengals, and it's a Monday night, and I want to say it's late December. And of course, everybody's banged up, and I'm banged up and tired. And Carson Palmer comes up, and he's going no huddle, and he's checking. He's like, hey, let's go to Las Vegas. Check. No, let's go back. Let's go to New York. J-Lo, New York. Ready? And so he's calling all these audibles. And about the fourth play of the drive, it kind of dawned on me. Wait, if he's saying a West Coast city, then he's running to the left. If he's saying an East Coast city, he's running to the right. And so when he says Vegas, it's run left. When he says New York, it's run right. And I was like, so all this credit that guys like you give these quarterbacks for all this great and being cerebral. Here's the quarterback with the most simplistic audible system I've ever heard in my life.
Did you tell your teammates?
No, because I wanted to make every play, man. At some point, you have to be selfish because if I make more plays, that means I can ask for more money with my contract.
No, I get it. Okay, is the Jets' job when it's open a good job or a great job? Now that they don't get Trevor Lawrence.
It's a good job because I think Joe Douglas has done an outstanding job of drafting, in especially in the last draft class. I think there are a couple of jobs that are better if and when, and I'm not going to fire anybody, but there's a lot of speculation that the Chargers job is going to come open. That may be the best job on the market if it does come open because of the quarterback, because of what you have with Bosa and Ingram on defense. You have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Like, you have a team that if the ball bounces their way, they could have won 4 or 5 more games this year.
I know.
I think the second best job that's going to be open, that is open, is the Houston Texans job because of the quarterback. Now, the only reason Houston is not first is because they got so much work to do on defense. And, when J.J. Watt's your best player on defense, he's a Hall of Fame player, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. But let's face it, he's not what he was. And so I think those are the top 2 jobs. Now, if the Jets somehow finagle and get the number 1 pick, I would bump them back up, because if you got Trevor Lawrence with all the draft capital that they have and Joe Douglas, who seems to be a really, really good judge of talent, then that job really becomes attractive.
I'm going to make you the Jets GM right now, and you're on the clock with the number 2 pick overall. What are you doing?
I am looking at my phone, seeing if the phone is going to ring. Because if the phone rings for somebody who wants a quarterback, then I'm going to deal. I'm going to keep Sam Darnold. I'm going to pick up the 5th-year option because Sam Darnold is not broken. Sam Darnold is a very good quarterback, and with the right offensive mind, I think Sam Darnold can be outstanding. Adam Gase has proven us. As a matter of fact, Adam Gase told us with his own words he failed Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold is not broken. I just think the reason people were tying Trevor Lawrence to the Jets is because we all think that Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent. But I'm keeping Sam Darnold. I'm trying to get a litany of picks. And if I can't get a litany of picks, then what I probably do, I probably take either Jamar Chase or the tackle. I'm going to take, when I say the tackle, Penei Sewell out of Oregon. I'm going to take somebody that's going to boost my offense to help Sam Darnold if I don't get a trade partner at number 2.
We're talking to Booger McFarland. You can see him on ESPN's college football coverage and their NFL coverage as well. You start to look at the playoff scenarios here, and we might have a team have, 11 wins and not make the playoffs here, which is pretty crazy. If you were going to, let's look at the AFC, the teams, the number of teams, let's take out the Chiefs, the number of teams that you go, they can win the Super Bowl.
Buffalo is 1, Tennessee is 2, Indianapolis 3. It sounds crazy not to say Pittsburgh, but how can you say Pittsburgh the way they've looked the last 3 weeks? And quite frankly, I said this on our pregame show a couple of weeks ago. Pittsburgh has a softness problem. Like, they're very soft, especially on the offensive line. And they kind of got in an uproar when I said that. But then the head coach Mike Tomlin came out and said there was a lack of physicality. Ben Roethlisberger said there was a lack of physicality. It's a team that's trying to play an offense in which they're not familiar how to play. It's 4 or 5 wide. They're trying to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, but they got a quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger that, I mean, let's face it, he's on hole 16. Like he's getting ready to come down the 16th fairway, and it's like, hey, big fella, you ain't got long left, and he knows it, and everybody knows it. And for them to play at a high level, they're going to have to run the football, but they can't, Dan. And that's the issue. So, my short list of teams after Kansas City would be, obviously, Tennessee, Indy, Buffalo would probably be the 3 other than Kansas City that I would lean on.
Yeah, the thing with the Steelers, and then Ben says he wants to come back. Who's more likely to be back with their team, Ben or Phillip Rivers?
More likely, Ben.
And Drew Brees.
Well, I believe Drew Brees is going to be your colleague and work for NBC, Peacock, whatever you want to call it. I think that's where he's going. I think Phillip wants to go coach high school football. That's why I think he signed a 1-year deal. I think, Big Ben's coming back, man. Big Ben's got $30 million that's sitting there that, I mean, it's kind of free money. Like, they're not going to cut him. He's a legend. He can kind of go cherry pick, kind of like some of the great basketball players do. He can average 10 points and 3 rebounds and get $25 million. So, I mean, if I were him, that's what I'd do.
But if you're the Steelers, do you want him back?
What's your alternative? Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges?
Well, they're gonna get rid of those guys. But if you said that you could get Sam Darnold,
I think you ask Ben to retire if you could get Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold can be your quarterback for 10 years. To me, Dan, here's the quarterback carousel. Watch this now.
Okay.
Let's just say somehow the Jets get the first pick. So now Sam Darnold is now being traded. Let's just say Sam Darnold is traded or he goes to Indy. Or maybe Sam Darnold goes to San Francisco because we know they're not necessarily sold on Jimmy. Where does Jimmy G go? Does Jimmy G go to New England? Okay. You see how one pick can change the entire outlook of this league because there could be a lot of quarterbacks on the move. What if Arthur Blank and the new coach decide we want to move away from Matt Ryan? I could see Matt Ryan going to San Francisco. Then where does Jimmy G go? So I think the quarterback carousel is going to be really interesting. And we thought last year was interesting. I think this offseason with the quarterbacks that could be on the move potentially is going to be way more intriguing than it was last year.
You think Cam is one and done in New England?
Yes, because I think Cam and New England both had a vested interest in this season. They both needed each other, and they both have failed. Cam Newton needed New England because he needed to prove that he could still be a high-level starting quarterback in the National Football League in hopes of getting a huge deal. He has not done that. He's still bouncing balls to receivers, overthrowing receivers. His best trait is his physicality, and you wonder how long that can last. New England needed to see, can Cam do it? Because we have to find the heir apparent to Tom Brady. And Josh McDaniel and Bill Belichick in a private moment will probably tell you that they weren't able to maximize and get the best out of Cam. Josh can't be who Josh wants to be with a guy who's limited as a passer. So I think they both failed each other.
Do you understand Sean Payton's fixation on Taysom Hill?
I do, because I think in Sean Payton's mind, he sees what a lot of these offensive coordinators have right now, a dual threat quarterback that can hurt you with his legs. The problem is Taysom hasn't gotten enough reps throwing the football. And the only way you get reps is, guess what? You got to put him in the game. And we didn't have a preseason this year, didn't have really an off-season. And so Taysom Hill needs reps. To me, it's going to really come down to because I think Drew Brees is going to retire. When Drew Brees retires, I think Sean Payton is going to name Taysom Hill as starting quarterback. He's going to get an entire offseason, mini camp, training camp, preseason if we do have a preseason, and he's going to give him every opportunity. And if he fails at that point, then he'll move on. But I do think he's invested a lot of time and effort into making Taysom Hill what his mind says Taysom can be, which is the second coming of Steve Young.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that.
Well, that's what he tells everybody that, right?
Yeah, but he's not, because Steve has wonderful touch. Taysom wasn't a great passer in college. And it's not like you go, I wasn't very good in college as a passer, but I'm going to get better in the NFL as a passer. I mean, that.
Josh Allen did.
Yeah, I think Josh had mechanics. I think he had some. And plus, if you saw the Wyoming roster and you saw the weather they played in, then I can at least go, okay, a lot of it's decision making. A lot of it's that I got to throw a receiver open. In college, like imagine Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State.
Right.
He didn't have to throw anybody open. Justin Fields, it's hard to really handicap and go, I don't know how good these guys are. And with Josh Allen, he probably is learning to throw, guys open here, and he's done a great job this year.
And to your point, Dan, Josh Allen has gotten better. Mechanics, whether play a part. You bring up Justin Fields, and I think people are going to be shocked when they really get into the Justin Fields tape, how similar he is to. Yes, he's more athletic than Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah,
way more athletic. However, from a passing standpoint, he's going to resemble Haskins a lot. The anticipation is just a step slow. His ability to throw guys open is a step slow. I think Zach Wilson out of BYU may be the second quarterback taken, and I think a lot of people will be shocked by that because all along it's been Trevor or Justin. I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be Trevor, probably Zach Wilson, maybe even a Mac Jones behind that. I don't think Justin Fields is being helped based on when you look at how Dwayne Haskins is performing coming out of that same system.
What's in those cabinets behind you?
So the one over this shoulder, I got a lot of Apple products in there. So I got some extra, like some old iPads, iPhones, etc. This cabinet, I have extra checkbooks because I'm still old school, so I don't do everything by ACH or auto pay. Like I still write checks, so I got checks in that cabinet. I got some vitamins up there because when I'm in the office, I forget to take my vitamins. They're up there. So this is kind of a multi-purpose cabinet.
All right. Yeah, we got to do something in the background. I got to get some. You got to dress it up a little bit. There should be a picture of the one NFL touchdown that you had.
Yes. The problem is I was so out of breath. The only picture I have of that touchdown, literally my shirt is pulled up, like my guts hanging out. And I mean, seriously, because it was in Atlanta. It was Sack Paul's fumble, falling the ball in Atlanta against Michael Vick. And it was so funny. The only thing I thought about was I have to come right back on the field because I scored the touchdown and our defense is going back on the field. That's the mind of a defensive lineman. It's not celebrate. It's not do a TikTok on the logo. It's, hey, let's go get some water and get ready to come back on the field.
And you're trying to track down Michael Vick.
Exactly.
Kyler Murray, I think, is quicker than Mike. I think Mike might be faster. Kyler Murray has that acceleration. He gets to a different gear, I think, quicker than anybody I've ever seen at that position.
Yes, I would agree with you, and he has to. He's 5'8", 9", whatever you want to call it. He's not 6 feet tall, so he's got to use his attributes to help him. And I think when he struggled over the last, couple of weeks, his ability or a team's ability to keep him in the pocket. So if I'm going against Kyler Murray, Dan, watch what the Patriots did to him. The Patriots didn't allow him outside the pocket. And it's very similar to Baker Mayfield. If you just keep Baker Mayfield in the confines of that pocket, he's going to struggle more times than not because these guys are not very big. Now, the coaching staffs know that. So what does Kevin Stefanski do? What does Cliff Kingsbury do? I'm going to get these guys outside the pocket on the edge where they can see. Imagine if you were trying to drive a car and you couldn't see. Like you couldn't drive at all. So like these dudes have rare traits, but they got to be able to be put in position to use those traits.
It's great to talk to you. You brought it today. We appreciate it. I didn't expect anything less. Booger, part of ESPN's college football NFL coverage. Merry Christmas to you, bud, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Always, man. Love you, pal. You take it easy. Tell the Danettes I said hello.
That's Booger McFarland.